Welcome to Myanmar Musings, a podcast of the Myanmar Research Centre at the Australian National University, Canberra. I'm Luke Corbin. It's August 13, 2020, and today we are speaking with Puttaporn Areeprachakun, otherwise known as Jip, who recently graduated with a PhD in Geography from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and is now lecturer in the Department of Geography at Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok. Jip's doctorate is all about investigating the stories, life experiences, and the problems of Myanmar migrants who are working in Thailand, and in particular in the coastal Samut Sakhon province, which is also known as Mahachai. This province is rich in fisheries and is the largest tuna processing area in the world. So, hello, Jip.
Hello, Luke.
Let's get stuck into it with, your thesis begins with a significant quote from one of your research informants in Thailand. I don't speak Thai, so I'll read out the English version. In the past, Burmese people came and destroyed our Ayutthaya kingdom, and now they are seizing our country again by moving in and giving birth in Thailand. So someone said this to you in your research, and you say that you were taught in your youth to hate people or fear people from Myanmar. Your personal journey is important to the thesis that you ended up writing. So where are you from in Thailand, and how did you come to empathize with and want to research Myanmar migrant workers in Thailand?
So my hometown is in the east of Thailand, which is called Chanthaburi. Actually, my hometown connects with Cambodia, not Myanmar. When I was young, I was studying in the public school in Thailand, and I was taught in history subject about the history between Ayutthaya Kingdom and Myanmar at the time. And at the time, we seen Burmese people as our enemies because they came to destroy Ayutthaya several times. But at the time, I didn't think that much because I have never seen any Burmese people in my hometown. There was a time that I went to my grandmother's hometown, which is Samut Sakhon province. And in Samut Sakhon province, there is the biggest seafood market that my family and I usually went there to buy some seafoods before we heading to my grandma's house. And at that market, actually there are many Burmese people working there. But still, I was so young, and I didn't know that they are Burmese. But when I grow up, and after I graduated from the college, I went there again with my mom, and I just realized that, this place is different because people around here, they are mainly migrant workers from Myanmar, because they can speak Thai a little bit, but the accent that they speak is different, and also the environment, the site that is posed in that area is Burmese and Thai together. And then I read a news about Mahachai, and the news mentioned that Mahachai is the second Hong Sawadi, which is the capital city in Myanmar in the history, Hong Sawadi. So in the news, they mentioned that Mahachai is the second Hong Sawadi. It's very interesting as a geographer because Mahachai is not connected with Myanmar at all. Mahachai is in central Thailand, and the boundary is just very far from Myanmar. So why Mahachai become the biggest Burmese community in Thailand? That's my question at the time, and I want to study this area more. So just like a beginning of my journey, beginning of my research.
And what about the broader context of migrant workers and labour in Thailand? There are millions of migrant workers in Thailand. So, does Thailand need migrant labor to function the way that it does, and why?
Yes, right now Thai economy need a lot of unskilled laborers from our neighboring countries because Thai society become an aging society right now. That. We don't have sufficient uh, unskilled workers to support our economy. And because Thai youth don't like working as unskilled labor. They want to work someplace that easier, more convenient. So we need someone to fill up that gap, that need, that requires. That's why we need someone from our neighboring country to come and work in Thailand.
And then in Samut Sakhon, Mahachai, a majority of the industrial workers are, as you say, from Myanmar. So you've mentioned seafood. Where do these Myanmar people work in Mahachai, and what are the conditions? You've just mentioned maybe some hardship that Thai people don't want to take these jobs. What are the general conditions like for the Myanmar workers there?
In Samut Sakhon province, they have like three main economic activities: fishing, industrial section, and also agricultural sector. Both three main activities, there are a lot of migrant workers from Myanmar. But I mainly focus on my research focus on the industrial section, which mainly the migrant workers from Myanmar. The condition of the migrant workers from Myanmar that work in Samut Sakhon province, I would say in the past it was very hard for them. They worked so hard, they get very, very low wage, lower than normal unskilled Thai worker get. But right now, because the government tried to make them registered, they become legal than more than illegal, and they get the low wage, around $11 to $12 a day, which is quite similar to what Thai unskilled workers get right now. So I would say like right now the condition is getting better because they are registered, but they still have the flaws of the registration. Some migrant workers cannot register because they don't have the documents, they don't have the identification. The government requires those documents for them to register. That's why some migrant workers still being an illegal worker, and some cannot come to Thailand because they cannot register too. For those illegal migrant workers, they are very risky in the case that if the police or if the government found them, they have to be sent back to their home country, or they might be threatened by some people for get some bribe. So that the condition of the migrant workers in Thailand at the present.
And as we both know, Myanmar is a multi-ethnic, diverse country. So where do these migrant workers come from in Myanmar? How do they identify as Burma or Mun or Karen? And do they speak or learn Thai?
There are two main borders that the migrant workers from Myanmar moved to Thailand. According from my interviews, first they came to Thailand from the Mahachai Myanmar border, which is in the Tak province, and the second one is Ranong Got Tao border. The migrant workers who came to Thailand, not Thailand, I mean to Samut Sakhon province, mainly Karen or Kayin, Mon, and Burma. Karen people came from Kayin state and Kayah state, and they used Mahachai Myanmar border to cross border to Thailand, and they traveled to Samut Sakhon province. Mon also came from Tak province too. They came from Bago and some Mon state and moved to Kayin state and used Mahachai Myanmar border. For Burma ethnic, as I interviewed, mainly they're from the Way city, which is in the south of Myanmar. And that's why they use the border, Ranong Kottao border, to cross border. And then they travel to Samut Sakhon province. So in Samut Sakhon province, there are three main ethnic groups living, two main ethnic groups from Myanmar living in this area, but they still have other ethnicities too, but not that much. Some of them can speak Thai very well, but some can understand Thai because they have to work with Thai workers. They have to work with their boss who always Thai, and their head of the department or head of the groups, they are always Thai. So they have to work with Thai people. They understand Thai, they can do their work when the employer asks them to do or the boss asks them to do, they understand it. But they don't speak it that much, even though they can speak it, but they told me that they're so embarrassed when they speak Thai because of the accent. But some of them speak Thai very well. I mean, if you go there and talk to them, they understand, but they might not speak back to you.
And is there an expectation that they will be able to speak Thai when they are hired in a job, or does speaking Thai proficiently result in higher wages?
I would say speaking Thai proficiently can make them get a variety of job. Like they can work in the as a housekeeper. They can work close to the boss. They can be the one who control all the migrant workers and connect with the boss. But talking about the wage or the salary, the persons, there are two migrant workers that I know, they speak Thai very well. They help the boss a lot, but they still get the same wage as the boss pay to others. But what they get more is the kindness, and sometimes they get more gift than others because of helping the boss.
And so, are there any other foreigners working in Samut Sakhon? And why did people from Myanmar end up there in particular?
I would say first, there are just few migrant workers from Myanmar working in Samut Sakhon province, and mainly they work in the fishing sector. But then they know that fishing is a hard work. They have to go work overseas for several months, maybe for a year or more than a year. In a year, they can come back to land just like few days. That a hard work. So when they stay in Thailand for a long time and they heard about the job opportunity, and the job opportunity that I mentioned is the job in the industrial section. So they moved from the fishing to industrial section. And after they settled down in the industrial section, they work very well and they work hard, and at the time they're illegal. So the employer paid them a little bit lower than Thai worker. That's why the employer want more migrant workers from Myanmar than Thai worker. The current migrant workers at the time contact their friends, their family in Myanmar to come and work in Thailand, because even though the wage that they get is quite low, is higher than the wage that they can get in Myanmar. So they just like contact others, and people from Myanmar just coming from that social contact. And then it's become a big community because of the social networks of the migrant workers from Myanmar in Samut Sakhon province.
Okay, cool. That's really great background and information about Mahachai. Now maybe we can talk a bit more about your dissertation. And in that, you argue that Samut Sakhon is a borderland. Now, when I look at the map, I don't see any borders touching the province, any international borders. So what do you mean as a scholar when you argue that Mahachai is a borderland?
In geography, the term mainly border mainly refers to geographical regions surrounding international borders. But borderlands also mean the locus of several identities and cultures. So it also means the zones of cultural overlap. Borderlands doesn't only mean the physical border, but also the cultural boundary. So in this meaning, I think Samut Sakhon province is borderland in terms of cultural borderland or cultural boundaries. Because in Samut Sakhon province, there are many different ethnic groups who have different cultures, different backgrounds, different identities living together. So it creates a zone of cultural overlap.
One thing that I think about when I think about the groups of people that you've located in this borderland is something that they all share, which is a religious identity. Most of the people, Mun, Kayin, Burma, Thai, are Theravada Buddhist. Is this a big part of this borderland's social life? And does religion bring people together or keep people apart in Mahachai?
Is both bring people together and keep people apart. When I say bring people together, I mean they bring Buddhist migrant workers from Myanmar together as a group. They bring migrant workers from Myanmar who is Buddhist want to come to work in Samut Sakhon province more because Samut Sakhon is an area that there are many Buddhist migrant workers from Myanmar. But at the same time, is keep people apart between Buddhist migrant workers from Myanmar and Buddhist Thai people. Because even though they live in the same area, they separate their religious place. They separate their temples. They went to different temples for their practice. So I would say religion is a factor that brings the migrant workers from Myanmar together, but doesn't bring migrant workers from Myanmar with Thai workers.
Okay. And now going back to the quote that I read at the beginning of the interview, you also argue that the Myanmar migrant worker community is kind of constructed by elements of the Thai state or society as something to fear, as an other that mainstream Thai society should either seek to control or to stay away from. So how does this happen, and what are the consequences of this for people in Thailand and for the Myanmar migrant workers?
Go back to what I talked earlier about my own experience, when I was young, when I was taught to hate Burmese people. So that's the thing that Thai society is constructing the image of migrant workers, the image of maybe Burmese people, that they are bad, they are dangerous, they are our enemies, and that's why it's create fear and create some feeling of people like me who have been taught about that, who have listened to the news or even to the social media about migrant workers from Myanmar, that how bad they are. So it's create fear inside. When I heard that Mahachai is the Burmese community, I was afraid to go there and to do the research at that place because I'm worried that I might get some trouble. I might be killed because they're very cruel, they're very dangerous. It is constructed socially and maybe politically. And that creates the boundaries between migrant workers from Myanmar and Thai people, which this boundary should not be, because if you go there and if you stay with the migrant workers from Myanmar, you will know that they're just worker, like Thai worker. They're not cruel, they're not dangerous. Like normal worker, they're not what society has been constructed to me or to other Thai people. So this is what I want to talk, like the boundaries between migrant workers from Myanmar and Thai people is created through several factors such as social media, such as education, history, maybe the feeling of fear, maybe some other people's talking, even though you have never experienced the migrant workers from Myanmar. So this construction should be reduced, should be depleted. The boundary should be reduced. If it's constructed, maybe it can be deconstructed too. So my research talking about the way the boundary is constructed and give some give some suggestion about how to deconstruct this boundary. I still think that my dissertation is not perfect, but I think it's not bad to try. At the end of the dissertation, I talk about like if we want to reduce the boundaries, we have to create the new image of the migrant workers from Myanmar and the migrant workers, the Burmese community. So how to create the new image? Right now, the image is very bad, very dangerous. So how to create the new image? We have to use social media, publication, also maybe reproduce the new history that is more neutral, not very biased. So that might be the solution for helping people live together peacefully and reduce the boundaries between Thai people and the migrant workers from Myanmar, because we have to stay together as Thai economy needs migrant workers from Myanmar.
And some people might think that writing this kind of thesis, it could be done from behind a desk looking at media reports only. But as part of your research, you undertook ethnography. You went and worked in a furniture factory in Mahachai. So why did you do this, and what did you learn that you could not have learned from doing desk research?
I did this because I learned from a professor in Thammasat University. His name is Bullard. He is a professor in Department of Sociology and Anthropology at Thammasat University. He is an anthropologist and he worked on homeless people. Because he wanted to know about the homeless people in Philippines, he went to Philippines and become homeless himself. And I get the idea from him, like, this is very good. If I want to know about migrant workers from Myanmar, I think I should go there and not just talk to them or interview them, but I should live like them. So that's why I decided to go there and work with them. I went to the furniture. I worked with them in the houseware as an unskilled worker. I worked along with 400 migrant workers in the houseware, just few Thai workers there. Because first, I want to get some trust from the migrant workers from Myanmar. I think that if I just go and interview them, they might talk to me, but they might not disclose everything to me. I want them to trust me and tell me everything about their experience, their hard time, their relationship with the workers, their relationship with the boss, or their relationship with government. And also I want to know the life of the migrant workers from Myanmar in Thailand. I want to know how hard they work. I want to know how do they live. I want to know if they have free time, what they're gonna do. So that's why I decided to go work there. And what I get is not just information, but I got friendship with the migrant workers from Myanmar too. It is a good experience, and I think because of my ethnography, that's why my dissertation is completed.
Yeah, it must have given you a really different kind of insight. I wonder if we could look into that a little bit more. Could you tell listeners what a typical day is like in the furniture factory that you worked in, and maybe what surprised you the most? What went against your expectations when you decided to do something quite unusual and go and work in this furniture factory?
For the factory that I work in, the furniture factory in Samut Sakhon province, I have to work from Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But many times that we have overtime work. So we have to work from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. too. And is furniture factory, so the work is quite a little bit, I would say, heavy. Like you have to work with wood and furniture. And we work in the warehouse. because we have to work with wood, so that's why we cannot use any fan or air condition. Otherwise, the dust will just blow around. So we work in the warehouse without any fan, any air condition. It's very hot in Thailand. Since I came to the warehouse, since I came to the factory, I sweat very quick, like in 5 minutes, my shirt very wet. But I stayed there the whole day and I worked for 3 months. What surprised me the most at work, I would give you more information about working. At work, you cannot use any cell phone. You can go to the toilet, to the bathroom, but not too long. If you go too long, the head of the department will come and told you that you cannot go to the toilet that long. And in the warehouse, when you're working, you cannot talk that much. Also, you have 1 hour in the afternoon for lunch. You cannot stop working. You have to keep working all day. And what surprised me the most about working in the furniture factory is it seems like the work that they are working is very hard. They work a lot. They work 6 days a week. They work from 5 to 9 p.m. or maybe 10 p.m. every day. But they are very happy working a lot. They are very happy every time when the boss came down to the warehouse and said that, oh, we have overtime work today. Oh, we have overtime work this Sunday. So that means they can get more money. So they were just like, yay, something like that. After they heard that, they want to work overtime. And that surprised me a little bit. Yeah.
Anybody who works so many hours per week must go a little bit crazy. What did your friends and these people working in the factory do for recreation? How did they stay sane working such hours?
Oh, I would say they're drinking coffee a lot, and they're also drinking like energy drinks that also they eat lunch a lot too. Their food is like huge as more than normal people can eat. Sometimes they eat like a sour mango. I'm not sure if you know that, but it's very famous in Thailand. It's sour mangoes that can make you awake when you work.
Okay, now we're talking at a particular time in August 2020 when there is a huge global pandemic going on. And I've heard that there are a lot of migrant workers from Myanmar who are returning from Thailand to Myanmar. But I'm also reading that there are a lot of migrant workers who have returned from Thailand and now are trying to get back into Thailand to resume work. So what's going on? What is the situation in regards to COVID-19 and migrant labour in Thailand and migrant workers from Myanmar?
That's the question that I'm curious to because I just came back to Thailand too, and I heard about that from the news. So I called my friend in Samut Sakhon province who is migrant workers from Myanmar, and we going to meet this Sunday. So I haven't heard much about what's going on right now, but I will just ask them about the situation on Sunday, and maybe we can update it later. But what I've heard from the call is the factory had closed for a while. The problem that they cannot go back to Myanmar is they don't have money because the factory closed. So that's why they have to stay in Thailand. Going back to Myanmar and coming back to Thailand, they need money to go there and come back. So that my friend's problem right now, she's still in Thailand. And good thing is Thailand right now about the pandemic is getting better and the factory open again and they are working right now too. So I'm not sure about the in-depth information about this right now, but I'm gonna find out soon.
Jip, could you please give a recommendation to our audience of a book or of something else related to Myanmar or Myanmar migrant workers in Thailand?
Oh, the first article that I would suggest, but I'm not sure if it's in English or Thai, but it's a very good article. I think it's Thai language. Oh my God. Yeah, but the article is about why Burmese is imaged as enemy for Thai people. Why government have to create Burmese as our enemy. So it's a very good article. If you can read Thai, it's a good one to read. It's from Niti Ilsiwong, 1997. The article called พม่าศัตรูที่ไม่มีตัวตน or Burmese an intangible enemy. I want to suggest some publications. The publications that published by Labor Rights Promotion Network, because they are the NGO that worked directly with the migrant workers from Myanmar. And they publish the situations, the information about the migrant workers from Myanmar in Thailand frequently. I just like the last one is a book from Stephen Campbell. Campbell, he is working in Masot, not Mahachai, but it's a good book called Border Capitalism Disrupted. Is a good book to know about the migrant workers from Myanmar in Thailand, but he focused in the physical borderland, which is Masot. So it's not another one which is good.
Wonderful. I think that's a few really good recommendations. I do know of Stephen Campbell's book, but I haven't heard of the others. Unfortunately, I don't read Thai, so I can't check the first one. But I'm sure that many of our listeners do and can. Thank you very much, Jip, for coming on Myanmar Musings. It's been really excellent to talk.
Thank you, Luke, for inviting me.